यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरांग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस विश्वगुरु ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस शील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, The Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, verse number 20. Vishvam Atma Gatam Vyanjan Vishvam Atma Gatam Vyanjan Vishvam Atma Gatam Vyanjan Kutastaha Jagat Ankuraha Kutastho Jagadankurah Kutastho Jagadankurah Swa Tejasa Apibat Tivra Swatejasa Apibat Tivra Swatejasa Apibat Tivra Atma Praswapanam Tamaha Atma Praswapanam Tamaha Atma Praswapanam Tamaha Vishwamatmagatam Vyanjan Kutastho Jagadankurah Swatejasapi Bhattivra Atma Praswapanam Tamaha Vishwamatmagatam Vyanjan Kutastho Jagadankurah Swatejasapi Bhattivra Atma Praswapanam Tamaha
Vishwamatmagatam Vyanjan Kutastho Jagadankurah Swatejasa Pibat-Tivram Atma Praswapanam Tamaha
Vishwam Atmagatam Vyanjan Kutastho Jagadankurah स्वतेजसा पिबतीव्रम् आत्मप्रस्वापनं तमः
विश्वमात्मगतं व्यञ्जन् कूटस्थो जगदङ्कुरः स्वतेजसा पिबतीव्रम् आत्मप्रस्वापनं तमः.
Vishwam, the universe, Atmagatam, contained within itself, Vyanjan, manifesting, Kutasthaha, unchangeable, Jagat Ankuraha, the root of all cosmic manifestations, Svatejasa, by its own effulgence, Apibat, swallowed, Tivram, dense, Atma Praswapanam, which had covered the Mahatattva, Tamaha, darkness, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Thus, after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestations, and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Kindly repeat. Thus, after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestations, and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, all blissful and full of knowledge, His different energies are also ever existing in the dormant stage. Thus, when the Mahatattva was created, it manifested the material ego and swallowed up the darkness which covered the cosmic manifestation at the time of dissolution. This idea can be further explained. A person at night remains inactive, covered by the darkness of night. But when he is awakened in the morning, the covering of night or the forgetfulness of the sleeping state disappears. Similarly, when the Mahatattva appears after the night of dissolution, the effulgence is manifested to exhibit the variegatedness of this material world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Once I was traveling in an early morning flight, very early morning, maybe 5 a.m. or something like that. And the sun had not risen, 5 a.m. It was a long distance flight. So got into the flight, boarded the flight, all mandatory announcements over. Then they announced that we are switching off the lights for takeoff. So they dimmed all the lights and very, little light just to be able to make out what is there and all that. Not fully dark. They made it quite dim. And the flight took off. So normally, when you travel in flights, the moment the flight is airborne and it has climbed to a certain level, all announcements will start. All kinds of announcements will start. And then the air hostesses will come, they'll bring so many things to drink, eat, and all those kind of stuff. But because it was an early morning flight, no announcement, all the air hostesses were sitting in their seats, and silence. And inside the cabin, it was all dark, fully silent. And I happened to have a window seat, and that was next to the wing of the aircraft. So, and the aircraft took off, so dark, all silent, early morning. I was looking around, everybody has fallen asleep. Everybody is sleeping nicely. They would have got up very early and come. Of course, we are used to getting up early in the morning. So I was chanting my round, and I didn't want to disturb the person sitting next to me. So I turned towards the window and I was chanting. And I was naturally looking out. So nothing was visible, pitch black. Once in a while, intermittently, there was a light attached to the wing of the aircraft. It will keep blinking. Whenever it would come on, I could see a little portion of the wing. And when it goes off, nothing you can see, just black. So I was going on chanting. It was a long flight, 2.5 hour flight or something. I think Delhi to Bangalore or Bangalore to Delhi or whatever. And after some time, around 6:30, 1.5 hour had passed. Slowly the sky became crimson red. And then slowly I was watching. The flight was going towards the north, so probably I was traveling from Bangalore to Delhi, I guess. So I was able to see slowly there is this ball of red coming up, and then slowly that red color is turning to full white. And after a certain point, you cannot see, it becomes too intense, the glare. Then it became fully bright. And then still, flight is going on. Pin drop silence, everybody is asleep. Then about 20 minutes or so before the scheduled landing time, the pilot suddenly made an announcement and the speakers all crackled to life. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now started our descent into so-and-so place, like that. So slowly people started stirring, and then finally, the aircraft landed. As soon as it landed, everyone started getting up. Somebody is checking his hair, somebody is checking his dress. And then finally, we all got down and everybody went to wherever they had to go. So, actually, you see how people, when they are asleep, they completely forget their existence, their surroundings, who they are, what they are doing. The moment the flight landed and they all woke up, everybody remembered, okay, I come here for so-and-so purpose. I have to go. Immediately, mind will start running. I have so much tasks to accomplish. And the moment the flight lands, until then everybody was asleep. Moment flight lands, everybody is jumping up, pulling out his bags and, impatient to get out of the aircraft. As long as everybody was asleep, peace. Moment they wake up, everybody is impatient. I want to get out first. Because why? In their minds, so many tasks are running. I have to meet this person, I have this work to accomplish. But when they were asleep, they were completely peaceful. Why? Forgotten everything. Completely disconnected from their current reality. This is natural. So Prabhupada actually calls this the Suptothita Nyaya. When a person is asleep, he forgets everything about himself. But when he wakes up, he immediately remembers everything. Who he is, what are the tasks to be conducted now, so many things to be done. He will immediately remember everything. Even we also, when we go to sleep at night, so many pending tasks will be there. We'll be thinking, oh, this I have not finished, that I have not finished. Tomorrow I have to take up this, tomorrow I have to meet this, there is an important meeting, there is this. So many things will be running in our mind. When we go to sleep, when we are asleep, all that is forgotten. Next, so we will sleep for 6 hours, 7 hours, You may imagine 6 to 7 hours, you have totally forgotten everything. And then when you wake up, immediately all those thoughts will again flood your mind, and again you will be thinking about those same things. So when you are sleeping, you are completely disconnected from your current reality and you have forgotten everything. But every person has this power to wake up. He has the inherent ability to wake up, to come to a waking state from his sleeping state. That is called Supta Uttita Nyaya. Supta, a person when he is sleeping, he forgets everything about himself. Uttita, and when he wakes up, immediately all the memories will flood his mind again. It doesn't even take a fraction of a second. The moment you wake up, you're immediately aware of all the things that need to be done. Isn't it? It's not that you have to wake up and start thinking, who am I? Where am I? What am I supposed to do today? Don't think all those things. The moment you wake up, immediately everything is there. So this is natural for all of us. All of us experience this on a daily basis. Every day we experience this. So we don't actually think about it, introspect about this. How when we sleep, we forget everything. And when we wake up, all that memory is immediately there. Interesting, isn't it? So this phenomenon, actually, there are two aspects to this phenomenon. One is the phenomenon when we sleep, when we are supta, we forget ourselves. It is only when we are awakened that we remember ourselves. We become aware of the surroundings, isn't it? Just like all those people were sleeping in the aircraft, they had forgotten they were flying. And when the captain's announcement came that we have started our descent, immediately they wake up, oh, I'm on the aircraft. We are going to land in a few minutes. Immediately arranging hair, dress, this, that, getting prepared to, get out of, seat belt, this, that, all those things will start. It's simultaneous, instantaneous. So you see this alternating sleep and wakefulness, alternating forgetfulness and remembrance. This is part of our daily life. So Krishna uses this to give an example. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami. Yasyam jagarti bhutani sa nisha pasyato munehe. Krishna uses this to explain how ya nisha sarvabhutanam. What is night for all living entities? Time to sleep, time to take rest, time to forget the entire world. Forget the current reality, the problems, the responsibilities, one's identity. Forget everything. Night is the time for that. And you go to sleep. So that sleepfulness, that state of sleeping where we forget our reality, that is the space which is the space of wakefulness for the Muni. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami. A person who is self-controlled, who is self-realized. Samyami means, samyama means self-control. When you are self-restrained, you are not interested in indulging in sense gratification. So a person who is self-restrained, who has gained control over all his senses, he is awake to what is sleep for the living entities. What living entities have forgotten, that is what a self-restrained or self-realized person is living in. He is living in that space. And yasyam jagarti bhutani, and all common living entities, what they are awake to, sa nisha pasyato munehe. That appears like night for the Muni, for the thoughtful sage. So what does this mean? So when we are sleeping, we are forgetful of the reality, right? So what we are forgetful of, the self-realized person is awake to that. And what the living entities are awake to, the sages are asleep to that. Meaning, common living entities, common people in the material world, what are they awake to? Awake means what is their awareness all, what is their consciousness consumed by? Their mind, their intelligence, their existence, their motivations in life, all of this is consumed by sense gratification. How to improve my life of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. This is what consumes the life of a person. He is constantly conscious of this. Whether it is a student, whether it is a working person, family man, bachelor, all of them are constantly thinking about this. They are fully awake to these four things: eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Whereas a self-restrained person, he is not at all interested in any of those things. He is forgetful of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. And similarly, the living entities are forgetful about their spiritual position. They are not interested in Bhagavad Gita. They are not interested in understanding I am not the body, I am spirit, soul. They are not even thinking about what happens after death. What will happen to me after death? Where will I go? What will happen to my present existence? They don't think about that. They are totally sleeping to that. Whereas a Muni, a thoughtful spiritualist, he is constantly thinking of what happens after death. What is my destination? How do I prepare for my next life after death? That is the focal point, or that is the subject matter which the sages, which the spiritualists are constantly awake to. Krishna uses this example of the Supta Uttita, sleeping and wakefulness, to illustrate how when we speak of sleep within the material world, sleepfulness and awakened state, that sleep is not the real sleep. The real sleep is being unaware, being ignorant of our real constitutional position. Just like when we are really asleep, in that aircraft everybody is sleeping. When they are sleeping, they have forgotten themselves. I am a man, I am a woman, I am an Indian. Shri Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama ki jai. I am young, I am old. All these things are forgotten. They are not aware. Similarly, when the people awaken, common people when they awaken, they are forgetful that they are not the body. So this is real sleepfulness. And real awakened state means to know that I am a spirit soul, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai vamso jivaloke jivabhota sanatanaha. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. To know this and to act on that platform, to know alone is not enough. One has to also act on that platform of being part and parcel of Krishna. If I am part and parcel of Krishna, what should I do? I should serve Krishna. So to constantly be engaged in devotional service to Krishna is the state of wakefulness. So we have to become aware of our real position and give up our state of sleep, of being unaware of our constitutional position. This is one understanding of the concept of sleep and wakefulness. Another aspect of sleep and wakefulness is, like I described, when the people were sleeping, they were all peaceful in the aircraft. But the moment they got up, immediately they became aware, I have so many tasks to perform, I have to meet so and so person. And the moment the aircraft lands, they are all impatient to get out. The moment they wake up, immediately all their memories come back. So this Suptotitanaya explains how Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam, that Kalpakshaye Tani Kalpadau Srijamyaham. Krishna says Kalpakshaye, at the end of the day of Brahma, or at the end of the life of Brahma, there is dissolution which happens, pralaya, destruction. At that time, the living entities, they go into a state of slumber. They go into a state of sleep. Kalpadau punah visrujamyaham. And when the creation again happens, what happens? The living entities are again put into the material universe, and again they wake up immediately. Whatever their propensities, thoughts, desires, all those things which were there in their previous life, which was stored up in their heart, all that again manifests, and they continue fulfilling those desires and propensities. So that is why in today's verse it is being stated that Vishwam Atmagatam Yanjan Kutastho Jagadankuraha Swatejasa Apibhattivram Atma Praswapanam Tamaha. So Swatejasa by its own effulgence. The Hiranyamaya, during the process of creation, when the Mahatattva becomes filled with all the living entities, it becomes effulgent. So that effulgence of the living entity is coming from where? Swatejasa. Every living entity is self-effulgent. It has an ability to awaken. Although all the living entities are in a state of slumber within the body of Mahavishnu, when the creation again happens, immediately they again awaken, and all their natural propensities, all their desires, activities, everything again becomes manifest. Immediately, instantaneous. There is no development of healing and all that. It's all there, stored within the heart. So therefore it is called Svatejasa. The living entities are called Svatejasa. They are effulgent, and also they have the ability to come to the state of wakefulness from their state of sleeping. So now, when we are in this state of, although the living entities who are put in the material world may come into the state of wakefulness, still it is considered a state of sleep with respect to one's spiritual position and one's spiritual life. That is why the Katha Upanishad says, Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodata Kshurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya Durgam Patastat Kavayo Vadanti. The Katha Upanishad is exhorting all the people. Uttishta, wake up, get up. Uttishta Jagrata, and wake up from your sleeping condition. Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan, having got this great benediction, Nibodata, try to understand. Get up, wake up, and having got this great benediction, try to acquire knowledge. So what is the Katha Upanishad actually stating? That Prapya Varan, having got this benediction of the human form of life, which is very rarely obtained, Uttishta Jagrata, wake up. Wake up to your spiritual position, your constitutional position as a spirit soul. You are not the body. Wake up to that. And Nibodata, try to understand who you are, what is your relationship with Krishna, and what are you expected, what are your duties, what are your activities, and try to become aware of those things. Nibodata. Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. The edge of a razor is very, very sharp and very risky, very dangerous. Kshura means the blade which is used for shaving. So you take a shaving blade, it will be very sharp. And when you shave, you have to be very careful. So when you carefully shave yourself, you will get a neat, clean shave. But now, if you are little inattentive, what will happen? You will nick yourself somewhere, immediately blood will start coming out. So the Katha Upanishad is stating, wake up and pursue the path of spirituality with great determination and dedication. Do not be neglectful. Do not take it lightly. Because treading on the path of spiritual life is like walking on a razor's edge. There are a lot of pitfalls, there are a lot of dangers, there are a lot of instances, or there are chances that you will slip off, you will slip down, and you will again end up getting entangled in the material world. So, we have to pursue the path of spirituality very diligently, very committedly, very dedicatedly. Half-hearted job will not do. Our life has to be focused around that. Just like a businessman, when he invests money in a business, he will not do it half-heartedly. Excuse me. So when a businessman, after he has invested money in a business, he will be constantly thinking about that. How my money has to increase, how my profits have to increase, how the business has to expand. He, day and night, he will be thinking only of that. He will not think about anything else. Many times these businessmen won't even eat and sleep. They will not even think of eating and sleeping. So busy they are increasing their money. Similarly, when we speak of spiritual life, half-hearted, part-time spiritual life will not work. Our mind, our intelligence, our consciousness has to get absorbed in that purpose of life to render devotional service to Krishna and go back to Godhead. Otherwise, kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. It is very, very tough. Duratyaya, very, very tough, and nishita, very, very risky. Durgam patastat kavayo vadanti. This is said by learned people who have traversed the path of spirituality. This is their advice. So that's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said, Jeev jago, Gora Chand the bole. So he said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gora Chand, he is exhorting all the living entities. Jeev jago, oh living entity, wake up, oh living entity, wake up. Kota nidra javo maya pishachi rakole. Why are you sleeping? Small children, when they sleep, they like to sleep on the lap of the mother, isn't it? Children, when they sleep on the lap of the mother, they feel very secure. They feel very safe. That, oh, I'm on the lap of the mother, I'm sleeping, I'll be safe, I'll be protected, isn't it? Likewise, all the living entities in this conditioned souls in this material world, they are all sleeping. They are sleeping on the lap of whom? Kota nidra javo maya. They are sleeping on the lap of Maya. Everybody is thinking of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This kind of life is actually sleeping on the lap of Maya. When our life is centered around increasing the material comforts of life, when our minds are absorbed in thinking of our families, when our minds are absorbed in thinking of how to increase money, when our minds are captivated by greater and greater material comforts, greater and greater opportunities for sense gratification, eating, sleeping, mating and defending, how to make the arrangements for these things better and better. When our minds are becoming absorbed in these kind of things, that state of consciousness is actually sleeping on the lap of Maya. So somebody may say, okay, what is there? I am sleeping on the lap of Maya like a child sleeps on the lap of its mother. I am also sleeping on the lap of my Maya. I am also happy, I am also safe. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Kota nidra javo Maya pishachi irakole. Don't think that Maya is like your mother, that you can keep your head on the lap of Maya and sleep very comfortably, safe and secure. No, that Maya is a witch. Witches are people who drink the blood of children, like Putana. Putana came to kill Krishna, right? She was used to drinking the blood of young infants, babies. They like to do that. So imagine you are a baby and you are sleeping on the lap of a witch. What is going to happen to you? Foregone conclusion. You are not going to be safe. Finished. Your life is over. So similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, you are sleeping so comfortably, feeling yourself very secure on the lap of Maya. But what is that Maya? That Maya is a pishachi. She is a witch. She will suck your blood and you will be finished. Why? Because a life centered around material life, a life centered around material sense gratification, a life revolving around one's material household affairs is going to take you down to a lower species of life. You are going to get stuck to the cycle of repeated birth and death. Katha Upanishad is saying Prapya Varan, you got this great rare benediction of a human form of life. And what are you using that human form of life? To sleep on the lap of the witch of Maya. So what will happen? You will lose the opportunity, golden opportunity that you have in this human form of life to get liberated from this cycle of birth and death and to go back to Godhead and serve Krishna permanently in the spiritual world. You lose that opportunity. Instead, what will happen? You will go into a lower species of life. You will have to take birth amongst the animals, birds, fishes, etc. And once you take that form of life, to come back to the human form of life, it will take millions of lifetimes. So therefore, if you take shelter of Maya, of the witch of Maya, your life is finished. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, wake up. You are sleeping on the lap of the witch of Maya. Protect yourself. When we are asleep, if there is any danger to our life, we cannot take any action to protect ourselves. Why? Because we are completely unaware of the circumstances of our surroundings. We are not even aware that there is danger to our life. So then at that time, if somebody calls out to us and then wakes us up, and because of his waking up, because of his calling our name and we wake up, we realize, oh, there is this danger, I can protect myself. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. He is calling out to the living entities, wake up, wake up, wake up, so that they can protect themselves. So all the living entities in this material world, they are sleeping on the lap of the witch of Maya. Just like all those people in the aircraft, they are all blissfully sleeping. Suppose suddenly there is some danger. What will happen? They will not become aware of the danger. The pilot will announce that we are in the middle of some big danger. Immediately everyone will like, oh, immediately you have to put your the seat belts and you have to brace yourself. You know, they have all those safety instructions. You have to hold your hand, bend your head forward and all those kind of things. So you will immediately carry out those instructions. Some precautions you can take. Suppose the pilot doesn't announce anything at all. Then sleep itself, you will go, Hare Krishna. So, we have to understand that for us to protect ourselves, we need to be in a wakeful state. In a sleeping state, you cannot protect yourself. Right now, all the conditioned souls are all completely asleep. Just like all of us, before we came to Krishna consciousness, we were totally asleep to spiritual life. We had no idea. I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a spiritual world which is called Goloka Vrindavan. Isn't it? Especially in South India, what happens is you would talk about Vrindavan. Whenever anybody would speak about Vrindavan, in my childhood, first thing that will come to my mind is Vrindavan Gardens. In KRS Dam, there is one garden called Vrindavan Gardens. Don't even know that a place called Vrindavan exists. So much in deep ignorance, you see. But when we came in touch with Prabhupada's books, all that changed. Suddenly, a new world of spiritual life became opened up. Our eyes got opened up. And suddenly we started seeing, oh my God, there is this whole universe which we were not aware of. So much to know, so much to do, so much to become aware of. Isn't it? How did we come to that state of wakefulness to spiritual life? Because of Srila Prabhupada. So only a pure devotee, when he descends as an acharya, can open the eyes of the sleeping living entity. Om ajnana timirandasya jnananjana salakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. The Guru is a person who opens your sleeping eyes. and removes the dense darkness of ignorance. In this material world, even if you want to awaken to spiritual life, it is full of darkness. Actually, this material creation is full of darkness, as it is being explained here. Vishwam atmagatam yanjan kutasto jagadankuraha swatejasa apibat tivram atma praswapanam tamaha. This material universe is actually a very dark place. And you have to bring light into this place by some artificial source of light. Like when I was explaining how on that aircraft we were going, it was pitch dark. Outside the window, I couldn't see anything. But when the sun rose, everything became visible. So this universe is a very dark place. And you need an object called a sun to diffuse light in this universe. So, this material universe, by nature, it is very, very dark place. So, even if you want to see yourself without a sun, you cannot see anything in this material world. Even if you have eyes and you have the power of sight, still you cannot see anything. You see how it is? Just like I was sitting in the aircraft, my eyesight is all working normally. I'm looking out of the window, I cannot see anything. When the sun rose, I'm seeing clouds, I'm seeing the blue sky, everything is visible. So similarly, all the living entities who are sleeping on the lap of the witch of Maya in this material world, Swatejasa, they have the ability to wake up. Uttishta jagrata prapya varan nibodata. They have the ability to acquire spiritual knowledge, comprehend spiritual knowledge. You understand? In the animals, you can go and sit and give them 12-hour lecture on the Bhagavad Gita. You can take them through all the 18 sessions of Gita life. Will they understand one word? No, not possible. But a human being can understand. That is why Prapya Varan, it is a great benediction, the human form of life. Now, although Swatejasa, that ability to awaken to spiritual knowledge, the ability to be able to comprehend spiritual knowledge is existing inherently within each and every one of us. And that capability, that capacity to be able to absorb and comprehend spiritual knowledge is revealed only in the human form of life. Although that capacity is there, if we try on our own to understand spiritual knowledge, we will go and land in a ditch. Why? Because this material universe is a place full of darkness. Even though you have eyes, you cannot see. You need a sun to rise to be able to see. So therefore, when the son of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada as an Acharya rises, then you go and surrender. Tad viddhi pranipatena. You come and surrender to Srila Prabhupada, accept Srila Prabhupada as our Diksha Guru, and then render service to him. What will happen? All the transcendental knowledge will get revealed in our heart, and we will be able to see the truth for what it is. Otherwise, we may make many attempts. We may even think I'm able to see. There are so many people who follow Mayavadis, all kinds of spiritual leaders, etc. And they will talk big philosophy and all that. But in reality, they are all walking in the darkness, blind, totally blind. They have no idea what they are talking about. They have no idea where they are going to go. What is their destination? They have no idea. So the only way, Vishwam Atmagatam Yanjan Kutasto Jagadankuraha. This whole universe is like a Jagad Ankura. It is like a seed within Mahatattva. And this seed, any seed for that matter in this world you take a banyan seed, it will be very small. You put it into the earth, it will grow into a big tree. Every creation in this material world is like this. If you want to make a big company, you start with a startup. Begins as a startup, then grows into a big $1 million company. Isn't it? First is the seed, the idea. With that idea, you start a startup, then it will grow into a huge company. Similarly, we all living entities, how are we born? We enter into the semen of the father as a small, very minute living entity. And then we enter the womb of the mother. And then gradually the body starts developing. The different stages are described in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And then when we come out, then slowly we grow. We are born as babies, then we grow into children, youth, and finally we have an adult body. So everything starts in the form of a seed. So Jagadankura, even this universe is like that. It is present as a seed within the Mahatattva, and then when that Mahatattva is agitated by the glance of Mahavishnu and the time element starts acting upon it, then that Ankura will start sprouting and the universe will grow, and then all the planets, everything gets manifested, as we will see in the coming verses. So in the midst of all this darkness of ignorance which is there in this universe, we have to find out a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, accept him as a pure devotee, then we have a chance to cross over the ocean of birth and death, the darkness of this, the darkness of ignorance of this material world will be dispelled within our heart, and then we can get out of this entrapment of Maya, of the witch of Maya. And so therefore, today's verse is stating, thus after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva which contains all the universe within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestation and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. So therefore, this is how material nature works. Material nature works to create darkness. Whereas in the spiritual world, it is full of light. There is no darkness in the spiritual world. So Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Natad dhasayate na suryo na shashankaha. There is no need of sun and moon in the spiritual world. The spiritual world, everything is self-effulgent. The self-effulgence of the souls are also manifested there. Now our effulgence is all covered. When we progress spiritually, that effulgence will start manifesting more and more. And then when we go to the spiritual world, our full effulgence will be manifest. So, therefore, we have to take shelter of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, accept Srila Prabhupada as our Diksha Guru, and then we can hope to cross over the nescience of this material world, the dark, dense darkness of ignorance which is covering our heart can get dispelled. We can understand who we are in the spiritual world, what is our eternal relationship with Krishna, which personality we are in Goloka Vrindavan, and we can go back to that place. So we'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. So we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.